concern.
Good evening and welcome to July 11th, 2023 Common Council meeting. Clerk will call the roll, please.
Herman.
Here.
Matsdorf. Here. Shilsky.
Here.
Penkwitz.
Here.
Gilson.
Here.
Nelson.
Here.
Tauschak.
Here.
Hildebrand.
Here.
Let the record show we have a quorum. Next is the pledge. Please stand. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Penkwitz.
Yes.
Matsdorf.
Yes.
Tauschak.
Yes.
Gilson.
Yes.
Shilsky.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Next item is the audience portion where we ask people to be signed in and recognized by the chair. This is where you do the talking and we do the listening. Tonight we have two people that signed up. I'll call on them and they can either stand where they are or if they want to come closer, entirely up to them. The first person is Neil Simnick. Neil?
Thank you, Council. I'm Neil Simnick. I'm a 20-year resident of 615 Western Avenue on the bottom of the ski hill. I'm a 1982 graduate of Plymouth High School, grew up in Cascade. Maybe some of the older folks in this town may have known my dad, Ronald Simnick, who ran the Zephyr gas station. He was a great person. Okay? With that said, I hope that established some respect and dignity in my comments. I'm a college-educated graduate. I want to take us on a virtual tour, if you can, with me. All right, let's take Highway 28 and let's go towards County Road H. Let's take a right. Maybe we're going to Freighted Hospital for some of our family members. We could be going anywhere. Then we see Sunburst Ski Hill. Beautiful, beautiful thing. People ski. It's outside of the city limits. It does not impact people who live in their own home. I have a wife diagnosed with cancer who sits in the backyard crying, worrying about taking a ski hill within the town and not moving it outside. I heard tonight, survey results. Data may have looked good, might look good on paper, but it appears to me the target audience was definitely schools and families, and maybe churches, wherever you said. That isn't representative of the whole. If there's additional data, I hope the council receives that information. Minimal tree damage. I very much question that. Safety is a big concern. My understanding, and I'm sure everyone on the council has been to Knott Hill and has seen that, there is going to be significant needing and widening of that ski hill for safety. It is going to scald the ski hill. It is going to rob the opportunity for people to access a city park that the city is responsible for with a city lease. I am calling for the council to cease and desist and consult with the city attorney. And if anyone on the council would like to contact me, please let me know. I can provide my number to you. It is terrible. Now, this group, to seek, maybe go around on our virtual tour still. Go past C, past some of the local factories. Come on 67. I don't know about you, any of you, but I've enjoyed looking and seeing the ski hill with all the trees. It just kind of is relaxing. We're a small town. That's why we live here. I walk my dog. I go around. I look over the top of my house. I see beauty. I wake up in the morning, I see people walking and jogging up and down the ski hill with nature. I see deer back there. I see birds back there. And it's going to be ripped and widened apart. At a very, very minimum, there should be a citywide vote and a referendum, special referendum, versus it being sneaked through. I have many questions, who the major funders are and their motives. Questions, will there be billboards of this cheese organization? Sorry, I'm a little bit passionate here because I am very passionate. And I'm very intelligent also. I highly want all of you to please look within yourself. Long-term residents, newer residents, what I'm saying should be respected. And would any one of you want to sit in my backyard, see nature, a scalded hill, and have your wife or significant other have to be subject to the scalding, and I'm going to use this word, the ripping of nature and emotions and the impact it has on direct residents. Other people may not be here to speak. I'm bold enough to speak. College educated. My line of work, we can talk outside of that. I'm not going to share that here. I understand business. I understand how things get worked through. So I really want the council to consider my request. I am asking, cease and desist. This group can move forward. Find a different hill outside of the city limits with access. Do not ruin our city park and a citizen's peace of mind. And if not, God bless in everyone's conscience. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person that signed up is John Rory. John.
Good evening. Well, I too live below the ski hill right next door to Neil here. I've been to the open house, and when they talked about the same vision that you were presented tonight, I thought maybe some things have changed, because it seems to me like a pretty lofty vision that they have. I mean, granted, they want to introduce, kids to be in, exercise and outdoors, but to me it just seems like a very lofty vision, especially with the way the climate changes. And I know they talked about snowmaking machines that can make snow at a lot, higher temperature than now, but I just think it's going to be it's not going to last very long, with our, fourth warmest winter we just had this past winter, and the earth right now, 2023, it's the hottest it's ever been in recorded history. So when I think of what Mother Nature is doing now with just the floods and, burning up, places, the trees and everything, I think we need our green space to just stay as they are. If nothing else, remove the man-made stuff that's on the ski hill right now, the lights, the A-frame nets down below the hill, and, just maintain it as a green space and just keep Sunburst, which is pretty close, 32 minutes away, for the world's largest tubing run. That magic carpet is super slow. It goes up, like maybe 2 minutes to get up and 7 seconds to get back down. So if it is a go and it's just not going to get the people like they expect, if in the least they would have some kind of an exit strategy where everything is going to be returned to what was removed to make this vision happen. So I guess at one point I was a little bit for it, but now I'm pretty much just opposed to it, just because I just see the way our environment just needs green space, and I think we just got to maintain that. Especially when I think, who's going to run it. There's people don't like to work, even just fill in the, the skating shack. They'll close it even when the end of the ski hill, in 2014, it wouldn't be open some nights because they can't get the help. So that's, it's quite a thing to be thinking they have to do, because they need full-time people, or at least one, but then some pretty committed people. And if it just gets all this infrastructure changed, and then it's just not getting the 200 people that they need on a weekend, and many and dozens during the weekday, just to break even from what they talked about at the open house. That just seems like, the ski hill had its heyday, and I think it just doesn't seem to me like it's going to work at all. But the least, if there would just be a good exit strategy on returning it to a gem like it is now. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. We encourage people to come in and tell us what's on their mind. and you do the talking and we do the listening. Thank you. Moving on to item 5, no items were removed from the consent agenda, it's not needed. Moving on to item 6, new business. Item A, extraterritorial land division seeking approval via CSM, property location part of the southwest quarter of the northwest quarter of section 23, town 15 north, range 21 east, town of Plymouth, Sheboygan County, Wisconsin. Tim, you want to give us a brief summary on this, please?
Sure, just a very brief summary. So the property owner is Lidke Farms. They would like to divide a portion of the parcel in the town of Plymouth into Lot 1 and Outlot 1. The intention of the property owner is to build a home on Lot 1 and then sell Outlot 1 to the adjacent property owner. So the city of Plymouth serves as the extraterritorial plat review jurisdiction for this property. So we are the approving body. The proposed CSM does meet all state statutes and local statutes, and staff recommends approval.
Thank you. The chair will entertain a motion so we can discuss.
I'll make a motion to accept the extraterritorial land division.
I second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? I will add the Plan Commission approved this at their meeting last Thursday and recommended approval to the council as well. Any other comments? Clerk will call the roll on the extraterritorial CSM, please.
Gilson,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Tauschek,
Yes.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Mattsdorf,
Yes.
Shilsky, Pankwitz.
Yes.
Further away.
Motion carried, thank you. Moving on to item B, approval of project commitment agreement with American Transmission Company. Again, I'll ask our city administrator to give us a brief summary. Tim?
Sure, so I'm going to tie item B and item C together. So item B and C is a reimbursement agreement with A&R Pipeline Company, and then a project commitment agreement with American Transmission Company. So as you know, A&R Pipeline Company is currently a customer of Plymouth Utilities. We have entered into a substation agreement with A&R in December 2022 to build a new substation for their increased load by the end of 2025. And that happened in December of 2022. In the meantime, we've had discussions with the American Transmission Company. They bring the large transmission lines to the substation site, which then we supply distribution lines to the location for power. We did find out in March 2023 that American Transmission Company, just because of the size of the project, is going to be requiring what's called a project commitment agreement. So this agreement sort of binds Plymouth and American Transmission Company to work together to configure the design, establish a good faith effort to meet the service date, and probably most importantly to the city of Plymouth, has financial implications regarding reimbursement of costs. And what I would say is key is that if for whatever reason Plymouth backed out, we would be on the hook for costs already spent by American Transmission Company. So as a result, that is why we needed the other agreement with A&R Pipeline. So that's sort of our backstop. So A&R Pipeline will agree to reimburse Plymouth for any stranded costs. For whatever reason, if the agreement falls through, if there's any costs still outstanding by ATC. So staff did work with our attorney, Richard Heineman with Boardman Clark. He's available by phone if you have any detailed technical questions on the agreements. So A&R would agree to reimburse Plymouth for costs incurred by ATC should the commitment agreement be terminated. So these are the ones that are in front of you, printed out and emailed today, are the final versions of the agreements. We were able to work these out in time for the meeting. So staff does recommend approval of both item B and item C. Happy to answer any questions regarding these agreements.
Thank you. What we'll do is take each item separately as they are two different agreements for voting on and action. And we'll take item B first. Chair will entertain a motion for the project commitment agreement.
Make a motion to approve item 6B, approval of project reimbursement agreement.
I'll second the motion.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Tim gave a quick overview, but working with the attorneys on this and drafting the document, I guess I would feel pretty secure in their deliberations and protecting the city from any costs. Any other questions? Clerk will call the roll on item B, please.
Penkwitz,
Yes.
Shilsky,
Yes.
Mattsdorf,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Gilson,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Tauschek.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you. Moving on to item C, approval of project reimbursement agreement. Again, this is the second part of that. Chair will entertain a motion.
I make a
Mayor.
motion to approve the project reimbursement agreement.
I'll second the motion.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Once again, part of the process that Tim has worked out with the attorneys involved. Clerk will call the roll, please.
Gilson,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Tauschek,
Yes.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Mattsdorf,
Yes.
Shilsky, Penkwitz.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you. Moving on to item 7, this is a committee update. No action is being taken, but simply FYI. And Alder Nelson, would you please tell us how the Housing Committee is coming along on the update, please?
Okay, thank you, Mayor. This initially, we named this an ad hoc committee for affordable housing, which was a little bit deceiving in some respects in that it really is a committee looking at affordable housing for workforce and elderly, as it turns out. There's just a big need for both groups actually in the city. We stopped at Salem Green, and they have a waiting list of something like 200 people to get into Salem Green, which shows to me that there's a lot of need for elderly people looking for housing where they have low maintenance responsibilities and things like that. And likewise, there's something like 3,000 people that come to Plymouth to work every workday, which I find to be kind of amazing statistic that we don't have apparently the housing here for workers to stay in the community and then go to work close by. So we recognize that we had a problem and the committee was formed. We've had 3 meetings. March 15th was the kickoff to the committee. Just kind of went over describing the problems that we have and, you know, where we should direct our efforts. The second meeting was a review of some of the zoning laws that we have and also like communities have that affect how housing can be developed. And we do have some issues, I think, that we'll have to address in the long run. Maybe like lot size and setbacks and things like that, so that we can reduce the cost of housing. And then Brian Donna,
Yep.
Donna, I have trouble pronouncing it. He's with Sheboygan County Economic Development. He gave an overview of affordable housing efforts in the county, and especially Sheboygan Falls is right in the midst of developing something on the order of 105 homes, I believe, right near Quick Trip in Sheboygan Falls off of Highway 23 and 32. In fact, I drove past there today and there's several homes already under construction there. But Brian is on the committee, so he can really help us look more broadly and kind of help direct our efforts so we're not just spinning our wheels. And then last meeting in June, we asked Dan Mella from the school district to come and talk to us to see if there were any conflicts that could occur if we chose housing to focus in one area, would that affect the school system? And according to Dan, really there shouldn't be any impact, that they're flexible enough and have the capacity to take on many more students than they currently have. So that was an important finding. And then Kathy Austin talked to us about our infrastructure and how that affects it. And we do have some issues with both water supply and waste facilities around the city that we probably should be a little bit careful where we direct some of the housing without having a huge impact on, you know, sewage flows and water supply. So that's where we've been. I think, I can't remember what our next meeting is.
Yeah, mid-August.
Mid-August?
Yep.
And were we gonna focus a little bit on finance at that one? I can't remember.
I think we were going to focus again on zoning and possibly some finance.
Okay. So there's a lot of work to do. I would say that there's a possibility at some point we may need to bring in a consultant to actually help write a report that will be focused on what we should do and where we should do it, things like that. But, it's an important issue, and there's quite a bit of effort on the state and federal levels too on affordable housing right now. So timing is good, I believe. And with our situation with TIFs and that, we should be in a good cycle to get things done. Maybe.
Yeah, I think I would just add with TIF 4 closing, we'll be getting a presentation from Ellers at the next meeting regarding our options for extending the TIF for affordable housing and some other communities are doing with that. TIF 4 is going to have a large balance at the end. It's got a large increment, so affordable housing will be able to collect over $2 million for some sort of program in the future. So that's something that we'll have a presentation on, and then council will make a determination on moving forward.
One I thought interesting comment made at the last meeting was that there's also an issue with housing for medium income people. Some of the companies, when they're bringing in employees, their employees are really struggling to find housing around Plymouth that suits them. So it's not just affordable housing, it's all housing that's really in short supply here. And, you know, we have an issue with maybe not enough contractors in the area to actually do the building. So it's a complicated but important issue, I think.
Thank you very much, Alderman Nelson. Certainly the workforce development and elderly housing for employees as our companies continue to grow is an important topic for all of us. And a lot goes into it. You mentioned the utility part of it, and we can handcuff ourselves if we put too much condensed housing in the wrong place and our system can't handle it. So certainly those are important issues, and getting on the ground floor is something that we can avoid all of those issues. So thank you with that. We look forward to more updates, not only from Ehlers, but also after the August meeting. So with that, moving on to item 8, Chair will entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 19-85(1)(c), considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility regarding city treasurer, deputy clerk, and city clerk, deputy treasurer. I need a motion.
Motion to go to closed session.
Second motion?
We have a first and a second. Any discussion on the closed motion? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Penquitz,
Yes.
Shilsky, Mattsdorf,
Yes.
Herman,
Yes.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Tauschak,
Yes.
Nelson.
Probably, but it was a normal night.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring some tacky food.
For the record, we are now back in session. Moving on to item 10, discussion and possible action on closed session. The chair will entertain a motion.
Mayor,
Alder Hildebrand.
I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 11, amending the compensation for the city treasurer, deputy clerk, and city clerk, deputy treasurer positions.
I'll second that motion.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Shilsky. Pankwitz.
Yes.
Gilson.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Tauscher.
Yes.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes.
Matzdorf.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you very much. Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn to Tuesday, July 25th.
So moved.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.